Welcome to Connections Forum. This is episode 58. So today we are having a special guest who's going to talk with us about using feminine power to access all levels of abundance. And her name is Kristin von Tilburg. But first, let me talk about Connections Forum. We offer single episodes and short series of talk interviews regarding the most important areas of human life, such as relationship issues, personal expression and self-development, as well as healing of these areas. The purpose for our show is to give you inspiration and also teach you new skill with which to handle the issues which are connected with the topics that we have in this show. And you can also watch all previous replays on our website, hangoutonconnections.com. So let me introduce myself. I'm Margarita Crystal Lotus. I'm an intuitive life and business mentor who helps professional women overcome emotional or overwhelming stress so they can restore their energy and have a fulfilling relationship and watch their career flourish. I'm the creator of the online program, Your Healing Journey, and my website is thecrystallotus.com. So I hand the talking stick over to Heidi.
Yeah, hello, I'm Heidi Hörnlein, and I want to begin my introduction today a little bit different as we are talking about feminine power, because I am, like Kristin, a feminine power transformational coach. And I did some other coaching trainings, and I'm working with clients now who are feeling not completely fulfilled, especially in their relationships. And I do that together with my husband Mark, and we have here a retreat in Italy where we hold retreats for singles and for couples and for whoever wants to come here and see us in Italy. Yeah, what else? I'm a hangout host, as you can see here, with Margarita, and we have another show called The Wisdom Factory, and I'm very excited to bring all the experience of my long life out into the world, and today with Kristin. So I want to introduce Kristin for a minute. She says, many women entrepreneurs are awakening to an inner call to bring their gifts and talents into the world in unique, unprecedented ways. But the inner programming they have received about money and work causes them to earn less than their male counterparts. There is a new money game that is uniquely suited to the creative energies of women. Money Magnetics is a systematic way of understanding this new money game so that women entrepreneurs can play and win the new money game. This sounds very, very, very interesting. And as I said, Kristin is also a coach. And maybe you would like to add something, please, Kristin. First of all, hello.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be talking about feminine power and ways to access abundance. It seems like there are so many women in the world that are so committed to bring the work that's dear to their heart out into the world, and yet so many times they have difficulty attracting wealth, money, and other forms of abundance. So I'm happy to share what I know about how to empower this money magnet to draw toward you the things that you want.
Yeah, the things that we want and that we need, you know. That was a big topic in our feminine power training. So we are talking about that. We could talk for hours and hours, but we certainly have somebody in the audience who said, but what is feminine power? Are you emancipated women? And many people think, you know, feminine power, oh gosh, we better run away by the example of the 50s, you know, when women became sort of men. What is feminine power, as you understand it, as I understand it?
Yeah, I think there are two. In this world, so much is based on duality, and there are forms of power that move out into the world, and then there are forms of power that call down the divine energy into expression. So masculine energy, the way that I see it, moves out into the world. It's concerned with strategies and tactics and 5-year plans and setting goals. And this is all very valid and appropriate, and we all need to have those masculine energy tools at our disposal. But what so many women are missing is they've followed this masculine model, and they have their strategies and their tactics and their plans and their goals, but those energies are not powered by the essence of their being. And so they find that even when they accomplish something, the feelings of fulfillment and joy that they expected are lacking. And the real power of this feminine magnet that lives in, that is like your essence energy, is not being utilized. So that is my focus, is to teach about the power of creative receptivity and how to allow. Women are not very good at allowing. Men either. I mean, I think men, and this is generalized, there's certainly experts of both genders, and feminine and masculine in the sense that I'm using them are not sex-based, not gender-based. They're just forms of energy that we all have to use. And hopefully learn to use them more consciously. That's my focus.
Yeah, can you describe a little bit the forms of energy? I mean, I think it was very clear that we are not talking about men and women, but that we are talking about feminine and masculine. And men, when they want to grow up and develop, they need to include more feminine energy, generally. And women who want to grow up need to include more masculine energy. What has happened in the 60s, 70s, we women felt the liberation, and we have sort of adopted the masculine energy, wanted to be men, and we have sort of dismissed and also devaluated the feminine energies. And as far as I understand, what we are doing now with the feminine power is to re-evaluate feminine energy, but not going back to ancient times when, you know, was all about women, goddesses, and so on. That's not what we want. We want to embed it in the growing and the evolution of the world. So it is an evolved feminine energy about which we are talking. So what is this energy in your idea, the qualities, feminine qualities?
Well, receptivity is a very important one. We all have an essence that is beyond the physical, and that essence is the source of creativity. It's the wholeness of the divine that flows in the core being of every human. And when we tap into that feminine essence, we're tapping into the essence of the oneness that we all are born out of. So many of us are comfortable with the idea now that everything is energy. Scientists tell us that the lower down you go into the subatomic levels, it's just energy. The farther out you go into the universe, it's just energy. It's all a spectrum of energy. But our essence, our source essence, comes from this unified energy of oneness. And the expression of each of us as individuals arise out of that as like a rainbow of particular colors, qualities, values. The essence of each individual is like a fire that burns deeply, and when you access that fire and move that energy out into the life through whatever work you do, you're more successful because the power of your essence is flowing through you. And that's what I'm calling your feminine energy. Source energy.
So can I try to put it in how I might see it, that masculine energy is more in analyzing, dissecting, and feminine energy more in combining and bringing together?
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Good. So tell us a little bit. Oh, Margarita, you are come. Okay.
Yeah, we have to acknowledge all our guests here, and I have Nazim here. He says working in the background and listening to Xiao, and then we have Rebecca Erickson, who is here Coach G. Moore, Nicole Levac, what else?
Bill Reed, I saw.
Yeah, huge Lori and Beyond Andrew. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Roy Montero. So welcome to our show, and I hand it over to you.
Yeah, about the feminine energy. In which way can it help us to go into abundance? So far, we women were not very good in creating financial abundance, for instance, you know. I mean, traditionally, maybe the last 20, 30 years, somebody got it, but generally women were not so much concerned. So how can we, adapting again our feminine qualities, how can we create that?
Well, when we understand this feminine energy and live from it, feeling that sense of connection, it provides the ability for us to create the states of being from within that we want to experience. So, for example, our first level of need is in safety and security. And most of us are looking toward our bank account, toward our owning a home or not owning a home, toward our ability to pull down a big salary to feel safe and secure. And so when we keep our focus on the external world, this disconnects us from this sense of feminine essence. When that happens, we begin to vibrate in an energy of lack. And when that energy of lack comes down through this magnet, it decreases the power of this money magnet, and so we attract less of what we say we want. The new money game, as I see it, is the ability to hold within ourselves the fullness of our being, to know that our security and our safety come from this connection to self. And when that's the case, then we are broadcasting out our safety and security, and then our world reflects that. And this is a new understanding. This is a new money game. Whereas in the past, your success was about your goals and your strategies and your tactics and where you advertised and how much your advertising budget was and your cost per click and all of these metrics. The new money game is about being so firmly rooted in the essence of who you are that you are creating from the fullness of your being. And when you create from the fullness of your being, the world reflects back to you that same energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Margarita.
Yeah, I'm thinking that what you're saying here, Kristin, is this is a little bit like healing, because I work with healing, right? And the actual energy content of what our thoughts and feelings are that comes from inside. Am I correct there? Does that resonate with what your system is?
Absolutely. It's all these false beliefs that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm too much, I'm not enough, I'm undeserving, I'm bad, I'm weak, I'm a failure. When we put that energy out, we don't create success. It's not possible. But where did we get those ideas that that's who we are? That's what I mean about being disconnected from our essence. When we are focused on tactics and strategies, we're trying to be something that we think that we're not. And that energy is not attractive. It doesn't call in the fullness of your being back to you. The new money game is about finding the fullness of your essence so that you know that you're worthy. You know you're good enough. You know you're deserving. You know that you're successful. You have the confidence of the essence of who you are flowing out into the world. And that allows the world to reflect that essence back to you. So it's like you said, bringing the wholeness of who you are into your life experience and living out of that into the world.
I have a little bit of a tricky question here, because, you know, this with the false beliefs and feeling unworthy and so on, this is not necessarily only a problem of women. As we were talking, women, feminine, masculine, men. Many men have it too, and even very successful men. So how are they able to be successful, although they have sometimes, not always, the feeling they are not good enough? and why get women stopped?
Well, what I think goes on is that it is possible to have so much of this masculine energy and be so talented and good at strategies and tactics and analytics. But what these wealthy people have often showed us, let's take Whitney Houston, for example. Could she be any more talented? Could she be any more beautiful? Could she be any more successful? Could she have attracted any more wealth? And yet what happened to this poor woman? This disconnection from her feminine essence left her open to the allure of drugs and these addictions. I think she went to rehab several times, many times. And instead of encountering that wholeness in anything that she did, she continued to live in this state of being separated from the essence of her feminine power. And because of that, her life was lost. And I think that we see this in men, too. Look at these actors, Heath Ledger and that gentleman from Glee. These are incredibly talented people. They are incredibly beautiful by the standards of the world. They are making a lot of money, and yet their inability to connect to the essence of who they are leaves them vulnerable to addictions and self-sabotaging patterns. I have an ebook on my website called Ending Self-Sabotage, 20 False Beliefs That You Need to Let Go of Today. That's on my website at moneymagnetics.net for anyone that it's free to download for anyone that's interested. It's got 20 of these false beliefs that absolutely destroy your ability to be connected to the source of who you are and to draw from that essence to draw the world in so that you experience the abundance that reflects back the fullness of who you are as a being.
So, Kristin, can I ask you a question here? How does a person start to discover? How can one introduce what you're saying to a person who is plugged into the sort of the previous mindset of the masculine and the logical is the only thing that counts, and this woo-woo feeling stuff is not counting, something like that? How do you introduce that to somebody who doesn't believe it?
Well, you know, the work is part of what you're called to do. And there are people in the world that are very firmly anchored in this masculine model, and when they do not experience a lack from it, then there's no opening for that conversation. But I have a client right now that's a financial planner. She's been doing financial planning for 25 years, and she's very successful, but she is so empty. Her to-do list is running her life. She's overwhelmed, she's tired, and she's frustrated. And her life, despite having a life that everybody, no one on the planet would say isn't a wonderful life, she is not fulfilled by it. And so this desire from this emptiness, this feeling of longing, this yearning to do something that's fulfilling, drove her into relationship with me, and we've been working on bringing in these parts of herself, which are always there. Don't misunderstand, it's not a matter of going out to get something, it's a matter of accessing what's already within and changing these beliefs that have caused her to be dominated by doing for others with this, you know, dictator to-do list, which will not give her any rest or peace of mind. So in the course of our work, she took a vacation during a busy time for the first time in 25 years, and her business flourished while she was gone. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, that's kind of amazing, I think. And I want to acknowledge a fellow Swedish person, and she says, bra event tjejer, Rebecca Eriksson, thank you. I am born in the city that you are in, Karlstad. So this is Swedish, means she likes this event. And Heidi, do you want to jump in here?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about still about the difference of masculine and feminine. You are saying, you're talking about the yearning of many women who feel unfulfilled and stressed and whatever. I do believe that men have the same problem, but they are not aware of it often, because they are so much in their duties, in their routine, that they just go on and never listen to themselves, and if they have a different yearning. And then maybe after, when they get go into pension, they maybe are completely lost, because then the emptiness comes, because they don't have their work anymore, which keeps them up. What do you think about that?
Well, I agree. This whole type A behavior that leads to heart attacks, high blood pressure, stroke, this is all a reflection of a lack of awareness of even the need of the physical body, not to mention the emotional body and the mental body. So the breakdown of health is the ultimate communication that you are missing a deep connection with who you are. In this world, we have gotten the idea that these illnesses are kind of now germ-based, and they come at us from the outside, and heart attacks are caused by eating too many eggs or high cholesterol. I'm not saying that what you eat doesn't have a contributing factor to your health, but let's get real. Your body was calling for your attention long before these symptoms become chronic disease. And it's the inability to hear. And it's this constant focus on the external world and doing and doing and doing, and no time to sit on the porch and be. Drink a glass. I mean, I think that's why they say so many Europeans have, the French, for example, they say they have less heart disease because they take time to sit in these beautiful sidewalk cafes and enjoy life. And Americans they're at the office until 10 o'clock at night, and then they're back at 6 a.m. and they do this 6 days a week and wonder why they have poor health.
Yeah.
And lack of their marriages fall apart, and their children don't speak to them.
This happens in Europe too, but what we have in Europe, that at least there are 4 weeks of holidays a year, and then people yearn for these holidays, that they finally can do what they like to do. So this reminds me of something, that there is something to be done in our work, in our way to see work, you know, not as something to run after it, but to do it because we like to do it, and to do it in the right amount. You know, we, as you said before, the safety. When we think we have to work and work hard and harder and even harder and even harder and harder, because otherwise we are lost. We are lost already there with this belief. Yeah. So. And another thing I wanted to suggest, isn't it then that we should work with men, we feminine power coaches, because they need it badly?
I couldn't agree more. I've had some very exciting times with male clients, and the transformations in their lives are amazing. And thank you, Nicole. What a fabulous comment. Inner knowing, absolutely. That's the essence of feminine power, is the inner knowing of who you are, and being able to move out of who you are into the world. Because each of us is a unique being. We have a unique combination of the creative energies of the universe, and everyone is here because they're meant to be here. How do you know you're supposed to be here? Because you've taken that last breath. Life is breathing itself through you. Life is animating everything that you're doing. It's saying, express yourself. Be in this world. Make your contribution.
Margareta,
yeah, fabulous. That's a comment here. He says, so true. I'm lucky that I try not to stress myself and have a positive attitude. Living in Italy has helped to get off the crazy, stressful USA patterns.
Exactly. Yeah, the wealthiest nation in the world. I mean, I don't even know if that's true anymore. It used to be true, and it's full of people that are sick and tired. It's sad.
Sick, tired, sad, and eat rubbish.
Now go to Italy and be in your retreats, Heidi.
Yeah, we eat better stuff in Italy, don't we, Nazim? Yeah. So, yeah, Kristin, you said at the beginning that you might, if there is the desire, lead a little bit a process how to get in touch with our feminine power. Would you like to do this, or would you like to talk about something else? More about the money thing?
Well, let's do a little process about scarcity. Let's say that the belief is I'm not enough, and let's work on that belief. Does that sound good?
This was one of my very strong ones. Good, yeah. So we mute ourselves and let's give you the Balkosheniko, the scene. How do you say? The stage. Okay.
Very good, thank you. So just allowing yourself to have an experience of I'm not enough. Maybe a bill comes that is hard to pay, or maybe you've had a fight with somebody that you care about and you had a conflict and you don't know how to resolve it. Maybe your child has made another demand on you and gotten you up in the middle of the night and you're just exhausted. Just taking a moment to recall a time in your life when you definitely felt like I'm not enough. And maybe closing your eyes if it feels right and it's safe to do that. And just allowing yourself to drop down into your body and notice what is activated by this memory of I'm not enough. And just feeling that feeling, allowing yourself to really connect with it. What size is it? What shape is it? What color is it? And where is it located in your body? And when you feel really identified with it, ask this part of yourself, how old am I? Or how old are you? And just allowing any memories to emerge that might be associated with this sensation in your body. And embracing this memory, these images, these feelings, these sensations, whatever's present for you. And when you feel that you've taken it in fully, just shaking it off a little bit, leaving it right where it is, honored and acknowledged, and letting your awareness flow through your body, down deep into your hips, down through your legs and into your feet, through the floor, and letting your awareness pass out through your body, out into your room, getting as big as the room that you're in, letting the power of your energy fill up this room, expanding your energy out bigger and bigger and bigger. And if it feels right, flowing out past the room that you're in, through your whole entire home, out through any property that you're on, getting as big as you can, allowing the fullness of your being. Remember that your being is connected to the source of energy that has created everything. So tuning into that fullness, that wholeness, that place of source energy that is complete and whole and creates everything that is. Allowing that connection to that wholeness to be deep and wide and full. Making a big container for this part of yourself that feels not enough. And just imagining now, from the fullness of that container, holding this younger self. If you've had a memory from your past, allowing yourself to, as an adult person who you are today, just holding that part of yourself that is connected to a place in you, a time in your life when you felt like you weren't enough. Soothing that part of you, letting that part of you know, look, you don't have to be enough, I'm enough. Let yourself connect to me, the fullness of your being. Let my enoughness be enough for you. allowing all those physical sensations to pass into this great container of energy, allowing yourself to be lifted up on the fullness and wholeness of who you are, of all you have to give, of that essence of you that is perfect and divine. And just noticing what's happening to that sensation in your body. Holding it, allowing it, embracing it, but letting the awareness of the fullness of who you are touch and soothe and relax that part of your being that was contracted and small. Just bringing them together, allowing that fullness of you to touch that younger self. Breathing into it, breathing into this connection of these two parts of you, the fullness of your essence and a limited place, a place of awareness that was stuck in pain or contraction. If it feels right, just allowing golden light to embrace that part of you that's younger. Bringing wholeness, bringing light, bringing expansion and harmony into your awareness, touching this younger part of you. And then seeing the safety of this moment, feeling the power of optimism and creativity that's available to you in this moment. Feeling the essence of the power of all this creative energy that you are. Opening and allowing the confidence of your being to be present in this moment. The certainty that all is well, that infinite possibilities for your good exist. Allowing your heart energies to be activated, the fullness of the love that you are, the fullness of your compassion for this younger part of yourself, the fullness of your compassion for a world that's waking up to this divine power, to this essence of feminine energy that is everyone's birthright. Feeling that arising into the energy of your communication and knowing that you can speak to others from this fullness and this wholeness, needing nothing from the world, but instead having all to give, being filled up by the fullness of who you are, overflowing in the being that you are. Knowing that the insight and the wisdom and the guidance that you need to make the correct choices and the positive, focused action to create this future self, the future, the heart's desire, that which you're yearning for, everything that you need being fulfilled, and trusting that and having faith in this divine essence of your being to flow through your life and to be expressed into the world. And just breathing in that wholeness. And when you're ready, just coming back. And feeling your connection with everyone that's involved in this event. Knowing that together we have access to field of shared source energy. That each of us in our own way has magnetized that energy down into our physical being and sent it out into the world with the beauty of this process. Allowing yourself to feel connected and whole. And knowing that as you move into your day, you carry this energy of fullness and wholeness with you. And lastly, feeling gratitude for the truth of who we are. Knowing that we have access to this being, to this truth, anytime we choose to turn our attention toward it. I am connected. Using these brief words, I am connected to my essence. I'm allowing that essence to guide me in this moment. It's always available to us. That is the ultimate safety and security. That is the ultimate source of your abundance. And then just letting ourselves feel complete with that. Margarita, how was that for you?
Yes, that was very lovely. Very lovely. I'm just on the other side of this usually with my clients, but this was very nice process. I discovered the 8 or 10-year-old inside, a little skinny, tall girl who's like stood in this big parking lot with asphalt and garage ports on the side, and I had a very good upbringing. I think my parents all loved us, right? But the Swedish mindset is that of you have to work hard, you have to, you know, it's like you can never. The mindset is like you maybe get something when you work hard, but not really, not for sure. So it's like you can never have what you really want in that sense because it's limited. So then you start to work harder and harder and harder, and maybe you can get something. So that's the mindset that I think it's in the bottom of the Swedish psyche somewhere. Maybe it comes from the Lutheran faith or something like that. Maybe Rebecca can give her feedback on that comment if she still is here. So yeah, and then later I saw this net when you in the finishing. I saw this sort of golden net with holes in that covered my solar plexus area basically. I don't know if that makes sense to you. So I would go and explore that a little bit further afterwards.
I think that's the crystalline grid that you saw. You know, this new energy, this new money game is based on this sense of connection, and that connection comes from this magnificent grid of light that comes out from our heart energy, and it also flows down through the planetary being of Gaia. I think you connected right into the crystalline grid. It's very exciting for you. Fabulous.
Yeah, yeah.
Heidi, how about you?
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask you a question about that. You are very much emphasizing at the end the connection with everything, with the oneness, with the spiritual, let's say, realm. And I think it's very important. But what many people who are on the spiritual way forget is the part which we did before, the connection to ourselves and to our inner parts who are still in need. Because as long as we have these inner parts which are alone and don't have our care, let's say, as long as we don't take care for them and really make peace with them, we cannot go really there. It's always like one foot is still down there and the other is already in the heaven, yeah, when I use this this picture. So I want to emphasize again that this is the very important work to do to liberate the feminine energy, to take these parts which are still and always in us and take care for them. Take them on instead of pushing them away. You know, when we are, for instance, angry about ourselves because we again have done something wrong, you know, then we are pushing them away. And we won't. This is, for me, it's an illusion that we can be spiritually realized without having done this unification work in our own worldly existence, let's say. So.
Well,
Can I show this little picture here that I had in the beginning about the male and female? So the male is like the arrow here, and the female is a circle, but they are separated. So why don't we do this? And here is the feminine, and the masculine is going to bring us back to our source, and then use both powers together. Does that resonate with what you're saying there, Kristin?
Yes, yeah.
And I would say the best thing is really, I'm writing today a text for our past show and to publish it. It's exactly the tension and polarity between the masculine and the feminine and between male and female, which is the best way for development, because you come into these situations sooner or later, normally sooner, and then you are in the situation that you need to ask yourself, oh, what is triggered in me? What part in me is suffering? What part in me does need still my attention? No? So, yeah. How do you say? Cross-fertilize each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have symbols of the cross, right? In religion.
I hadn't thought about that. Exactly.
Yeah, and then, of course, Christ died on the cross, so that's the hard work. Instead of just being in the heart already, I mean, I don't have any judgment against Christianity, but it seems to me very an incredibly symbol that has colored our minds in this last 2,000 years. And I think we could adjust it a little bit and have maybe a cross of light inside of us where we actually put those arrows of light in, so that inside of us, it's not another place outside of us, it's the place inside of ourselves, I think, that we need to reach. And if both men and women can do that in their way, then there can be union, right?
This is an interesting thing that you name this, because you can understand the cross also in many different ways. For instance, in going up into the transcendence and going down into the earth energies. So this would be our topics, no, about the feminine down to the earth and masculine who has the tendency to go up there. And you know, this is the horizontal movement in our life. So it has become something of suffering, and you know, but you don't need to understand it in this way necessarily. But this is a by remark. It's not what we are talking about here, but I found it interesting what you said, Margarita. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think we're coming to the end of our show. Heidi, can you give us some of the takeaways, and then I'm going to go to Kristin.
My takeaway talking with Kristin after the long time we didn't meet and after the school we have done many years ago, it was very interesting how she has elaborated this teaching into her own way of doing that. And I really appreciate that, Kristin. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi.
So, Kristin, how can people, what's your takeaway of being here on our show, and how can people contact you?
Well, it's just such a joy to speak of the divine feminine and the birth of the divine feminine in the world. My mission is to participate in this awakening of the divine feminine. I felt that call when I was called into the feminine power work 5 years ago, that this energy is longing for representatives to speak of it, and by speaking of it, we bring it into reality, into this world. And so this is part of my mission, and to relate that to people's abundance and sense of money it's just a joy to feel chosen to have a mission that impacts people on such a spiritual level and at the same time in a practical level. And so the takeaway for me of being here is just the importance of women, men coming together in conscious forums to presence this energy and to say yes to it and to allow it, and then to tomorrow and the day after and the day after to live in such a way that we stay connected to that essence. I can be reached at moneymagnetics.net. I also have a new phone app called Money Magnetics that's available to iPhones and to Android, and that's free in the Play stores and the iTunes stores. That's 90 days of short meditations that lead to this sense of fullness and wholeness, so that those that participate with it can strengthen that money magnet that draws to you the abundance and resources and people and synchronicities and opportunities that we all enjoy so much when we really feel connected. So thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So Kristin, can you please post your details on the event page so that people could click on that link and connect with you?
Sure. Thank you so much.
Margarita, before you close up, could you translate a comment of your friend Rebecca?
Yes, which one?
It begins with, "Oh yuck, Margarita, work hard to have what you want." I must be somewhere. I don't know if it's on the Okay, you might translate it later and put it in the comment stream, because it's interesting to know what other people say whose language we don't know.
Is it this one?
Oh, there it is. Yes, it is this one. Oh, this is not. It is not. It is. Excuse me. I thought it was in Swedish. Only at the beginning, it seems to be.
So,
okay.
Jag, which means I. Jag is the first pronoun, right?
Yeah.
And she says she work hard to have what you want, for often you have it all. These issues involve not getting anything about that feels good, not to have everything, and work hard to be able, where without work, missing life, I don't know what that is, and feeling good. So I think I'm assuming that you agree with me, Rebecca, here, because you can have everything if you change your inner mindset and tuning in with these energy, of course. Okay, so does that, so live your life as long as you live in the good way. So she says also, I think, job yourself working from 6 a.m. to get up at 5. I hope you understand my point. She's a nurse, right? All about not working too hard. I have that. But Sweden is so not working because you want to, you do not have it. I don't really understand that, but I think it clarified the show, and she says that she thinks our shows are very great.
Okay. So
thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Okay, so
we invite Rebecca to write in Swedish, and then Margarita will translate it for us. Okay?
Okay. Okay, so thank you, Kristin, and we'll probably want to invite you back. And next week, yeah. And next week we have our Connections forums as usual on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time.
Next week to 3 p.m. in Europe. Then it will change the week afterwards. Okay.
Okay. So see you next week.